We tend to view a story as this fixed, static thing to be read, viewed, or told and consumed by more or less solitary individuals. But in the grand scheme of human history, the story as a thing is really just a blip. The norm throughout human history has been very different. Without a fixed, static medium to put a story into, like a book or a DVD, stories are happenings, shared participatory events. As a cultural anthropologist, I went to New Guinea to study oral culture among the Nakaliman. When I first heard their sacred stories, I was totally confused by them. There seemed to be no clear dramatic arc, hero, or even an author for that matter. Bystanders constantly nudged in with challenges and amendments until at last one would take over the lead as a storyteller, only to lose it to yet another challenger moments later. All of this was punctuated by in-jokes that could instantly create bouts of roaring laughter, along with a few tense moments of what appeared to be genuine tension and anger as they fought for the story that would support their claims to land or unsettled debts. Such stories were not just for entertaining or informing, they defined the world, populating the environment with meaning and significance. A story about a spirit of the grove down the hill transforms an otherwise unremarkable space into an enchanted forest. They lived inside their stories. They were not things to be consumed, but were platforms for connection, participation, spontaneity, mystery, immersion, and involvement. And then new media arrived. But here, new media was not social media or smartphones, it was writing. As religious writings came in, the spirit houses where the stories were told were burned or left to rot. Then government writing came in, the census. Doing the census was challenging as people in whole villages frequently moved, so entire villages were burned and replanned by the book, houses in clean, straight rows, numbered to match the census book. Months later, after the villages burned and a new, much less enchanted era had been ushered in, even those who had created the changes did not like what they saw. When I finished my research and came back from New Guinea in 2003, Wikipedia was just gaining traction, Facebook launched the following year, YouTube after that, and we were soon thrust into the Web 2.0 social media revolution. And I wondered, might we also be seduced and create changes we do not intend? I put together a video outlining my ideas, tracing how different media shape what we say, how we say it, who can say it, who can hear it. The key is that media are not just about sharing information, they're about connecting people. When media change, our relationships change, our conversations change, our stories change, and we change. When TV came into our homes over 50 years ago, it immediately transformed our relationships in a way that can actually be seen in the arrangement of the furniture. Everything had to be arranged to face the box in the corner. And for 50 years, the conversations of our culture happened inside that box. They were controlled by the few, designed for the masses, so they were always entertaining, even the serious ones. These conversations created our culture, which Neil Postman grimly described in 1985 as one of irrelevance, incoherence, and impotence. Every medium of the past 200 years has had the potential to bring us closer to one another, to connect and share across greater distances and reveal different aspects of our inner lives to one another. Yet, we used cars to move into suburban boxes, shopped in these boxes, and looked back into the world through these boxes. Over time, we have simply spread out into more boxes, shopped in bigger boxes, and looked into these boxes. The tragedy of our times is that we are more connected than ever, and yet feel more disconnected. We became alone together. We broke reality, and we want it back. We have now acquired the capacities of television, video game, and virtual reality studios with global distribution channels. The first stories we told with this new media were often derivative of what had been seen before, but soon new types of stories unfolded across multiple channels in unplanned, unscripted, emergent collaborations. Such stories were not controlled by the few, or designed for the masses. They were not just for entertainment. These conversations promised the creation of a different culture. We continue to crave everything we have lost by living in boxes and turn to technology for a solution. We are not just seeking the meaning of life, but an experience of being alive. We want connection, participation, spontaneity, mystery, immersion, involvement, and for this, we must rethink storytelling. We have the opportunity to make stories into happenings again, shared participatory events. But as we do so, we may find these stories of the future as confusing as I found the stories in New Guinea. The stories of the future may not be neatly placed into Campbell's hero cycle or Freytag's pyramid, and we will have to think outside those models to create them. We are on the precipice of a total revolution in human affairs. For thousands of years, we have struggled to adapt to our environment. Now we create environments to suit us. We want to live inside our stories again.